loss. I mean, you're talking about our number one defenseman, runs the power play, on the first pair, plays against the other team's best players, plays 22 to 24 minutes a night. It's hard to replace those types of people.
I don't know that it was necessarily a single incident impact injury. This is the thing that's been nagging him for a long time, right? He's had the shoulder issues. That's what the thing is. So, yeah, I mean, he's at a point where he's got to get this thing looked at and taken after, because it's just become a nagging thing. Like every year, the shoulder's bugging him or something's bugging him. It's it's devastating though, because he is a big minute muncher and he's a guy who eats up a lot of ice, and replacing him, and he was on a great contract. So suddenly finding a guy to do that job for $4 million is going to be a tough order.
I agree. I think this is a situation that's been bugging him since he was a junior hockey player. After he got drafted by the Oilers in 2011, he hurt his shoulder while playing back in the Swedish Elite League, and missed most of a season. And then 2 years ago, at the end of the season, had a procedure to hopefully clean up some bone fragments in the shoulder. This, to me, though, sounds more like a torn labrum or something like that they've been trying to get through. And now, he's checking with some doctors as to whether he can rest it some more or he needs surgery. And obviously, as Rob pointed out, when you've got a defenseman who plays 25 minutes a game, it's a little tough to replace him. But the season doesn't start again until, might not start again until January. So if they decided tomorrow he needs surgery and, he's out 6 months, well then, 3 of those months would be eaten up before the season even starts. So.
And what about how a Klefbom injury impacts any plans the Oilers may have had to trade him and other pieces like prospects to upgrade their defense? Here we have McDavid and Draisaitl in their Stanley Cup window, and you're going to try to, swing for the home run. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's name has been out there. Is this the sort of deal you go ahead and try to make? But Klefbom wouldn't be a trade chip in this one.
The goal for 2021 is to build a team that we think is good enough on opening day if everything goes good, and you got some things don't go good, but you got enough depth built in that you can play your way into a playoffs. And I thought, the Chicago series, some of these players here played in the Anaheim series in San Jose 3 years ago, and then they missed for a couple. But you want to be in the playoffs every year, so we're going to try to make some moves.
I can see him going out and trying to sign a Tyson Barrie or something like that instead for 1 year, and he's a right shot defenseman. But they're fairly deep on the left side with Nurse and Caleb Jones and Chris Russell and such, and William Lagesson and such. That they need a right shot defenseman if Klefbom can't play.
Yeah, and everybody knows that your number one defenseman is kind of the engine of your hockey team. You don't go deep into playoffs without having a Heiskanen or a Hedman or one of those players. You have to have it, and on a team with the two forwards that Edmonton has, that would be huge. But they might have those guys in the system, and as much as everybody says you don't want to wait on Broberg or some of the younger guys that they have coming up, I wouldn't want to necessarily be throwing those guys away in deals either, because if you want to talk specifically about Ekman-Larsson, it's $8.2 million for another 7 years at a 29-year-old who's going to be better in 4 or 5 years from now. At what cost? Broberg or Evan Bouchard or Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So as much as nobody wants to hear be patient, especially Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, I think that if you're the Oilers, you get, like Matty said, a stopgap guy to get you through the next year, and then reevaluate again, like where's Ethan Bear, where's Evan Bouchard, where's Philip Broberg on our elevation chart. And if they're still trending to be top pairing defensemen, then you can sit around and wait a little bit. And if you see along the way that, maybe they're not as good as we thought they are, then you can start swinging for the fences because of, like you say, the Stanley Cup window.